Today, we're going to teach you the secrets on how to turn your open houses into mega open houses. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now, and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you. Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show. Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And in just a moment, we're going to be speaking with top 1% producer Zach Geisendorfer. Before we get to Zach, guys, as always, the best way that you can help me and our show is by telling a friend. Please pass this episode on, and believe me, this is one you will want to pass on, maybe not to your competitors, but to your friends in the business, because Zach is going to go through specifically how he just crushes open houses. I've done over 600 episodes. I've never heard of anyone doing open houses quite like this. And even if you just employ some of his tactics that he's going to share with you, you're going to have a lot of more success. You're going to get more leads. You're going to get more offers. It's really amazing. He has figured it out. So we'll get to Zach in just a moment. So tell a friend about this show, and also check out our sponsors. And last, leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the show. We appreciate that. We're here for you. And anytime that you write us a review, it helps us get in front of more eyeballs and then more ears. So please leave us a review on whatever podcast app you're listening to us on right now. It helps us out a ton. All right, guys, let's get on to my conversation with Zach Geisendorfer. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received as an agent?
I think the best piece of advice I've gotten is also the simplest piece of advice, which I seem to find very often, tends to be. So personally, my favorite one is the work works. Super simple. I got told super early into sales, not even just real estate, hey, like the work works in sales as long as you work the work. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what are you even talking about? The work? What is work and the work? And I'm just here to close deals. And as you kind of get going in any sales career, whether it's real estate or something else, you realize, oh, the work, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
AKA
Trust the process.
trust the process and also trust the basics. The basics are the basics for a reason. Like the normal work, everyday work that an agent does, it works. Most likely you're just trying to bump out of that work, and
Yeah.
trying to do something that's outside the wheel.
One of my favorite expressions is before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. It's
Yep.
like you just gotta keep doing, like you said, the basics.
Yep.
Okay. And what is a not great piece of advice? What's maybe the worst piece of advice you've ever heard as an agent?
One of the first pieces of advice I got when we first came into real estate and we started growing our team was work with every single person. They were just like, try to help every single person that's out there, get the masses, doesn't matter like what's an avatar client, all this stuff. And it was just go, 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 go. And it just didn't really work out too well for us personally. It was all these non-avatar clients, people that were hard, people that were out of our area. And we'd be like talking with our coach, and he was like, oh, it's only an hour and a half drive. That's totally fine. It's like 3 hours of your day is gone. And so
Right.
I just learned very quickly it wasn't a sustainable, replicatable way to do it, which is why I think it's one of the worst pieces of advice I got, because you're losing your number one asset, which is your time, doing something like that.
Perfectly said. Well, today our guest is Zach Geisendorfer with EXP in California, in SoCal. Zach is a SoCal guy. He's actually been there his whole life. Grew up in Orange County and works predominantly in the San Diego area as well as Orange County. So let me tell you more about Zach. So Zach grew up in SoCal, like we mentioned. He's lived there his entire life, which again, super jealous of that. He's been in sales since high school, where he got his start working the floor at Sports Chalet, and he's been hooked on helping people ever since. And today he still lives in SoCal with the love of his life, Rachel. And at 28 years old, this is insane, he is the sales manager and partner at FAM Realty Group. He's a top performing mega team with EXP Realty, having closed over 100 homes last year. Again, in the uh, the worst year for home sales in the past 30 years, he closed 100 homes. And get this year he's on pace to do 222 homes. Incredible. His mission is simple: to be the number one vehicle in the I love it. His mission is simple but very ambitious, which is to be the number one vehicle in the United States for real estate agents to hit their financial goals. He's obsessed with building systems, culture, and sales skills that create real sustainable success for agents at every level. And he is building his team. So our listeners, if you like what Zach is going to say, and you probably will based on the amount of production that he and his team are doing, he's a good guy. I like him a lot, and you should really consider talking to him and seeing if you'd be a fit. Zach actually works with agents all over the country. So it doesn't just have to be local SoCal folks, although if you are local, you should reach out to him as well. Follow him on Instagram. He is at Zach Zen, which Zen, so ZACHZEN Real Estate. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. Again, Zach Zen Real Estate on Instagram. Zach, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it so much. I really appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, super excited. You are really a lot of fun too. We would chatted a little bit beforehand, and we seem to have a lot of fun things to talk about. So, first of all, I want to know how you got started in real estate. So, what brought you to real estate? What were you doing before? I know you're mentioning you were at Sports Chalet, but how did you get from there to real estate?
Definitely. So I realized very quickly after Sports Chalet that sales is where I was meant to be. I picked a pair of goggles. Weirdly enough, I ran the sport water section, and I'd pick one pair of goggles, make that my product until they were sold out, and I'd move to the next pair and the next pair and the next pair, and we like blew numbers off the roof. And I was like, "What am I doing at Sports Chalet?" I was like, "This is crazy." So I went through a bunch of different sales jobs, kind of working my way up, and I landed selling real estate leads. For a company called Set Schedule. I'm sorry.
I know those guys very well. You're right. They're SoCal as well. Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
were
I know.
SoCal as well, and not to put them down in any way. Just over my year of being there, my first 30 days, I broke a company record. So I knew phone sales communication is where I was supposed to be. After 90 days, I was in the top two sales reps consecutively for 3 months. And after a year of being there, I sold about $1 million worth of leads, out. That's where I met my business partner now, Frances, who I actually followed up with her for about 5 months trying to sell her leads, in this company that we were a part of, or that I was a part of. And she stopped me one day and just said, "Hey, what are you doing? Like selling leads?" She was
You
like,
should take
"I'm
these
not."
leads
Yeah, she's like,
and work them.
I'm not gonna buy these from you," which kind of stung. But she was like, "If you ever need a job, like let me know." And it was kind of one of those like, "Sure, call me," type of offers. I ended up quitting my job on the spot. It just kind of felt right. I have no idea why, but I quit it on the spot. Called her and said, "Hey, like, you need to hire me now." And so that's where I started in real estate as an ISA. For anybody who doesn't know what an ISA is,
Oof.
essentially a cold caller. You're just
That's a
doing
rough starting job for
you
it's
are
but you know what? It's trial by fire. So ISA is somebody that is going to be taking inbound calls for leads, going to be making lots of outbound calls for leads,
yep.
basically is sitting on the phone all day trying to get people to answer or answer questions, setting up appointments. It is, boy, not for the faint of heart for sure, but a really good way to learn how to talk about real estate because you're doing that all day long.
Yep, 100%. And I came in from knowing nothing about real estate to calling a homeowner and saying, "Hey, do you want to sell your house?" With us. And I learned very quickly what didn't work, and took me a little bit longer to find what does work on that one. So my first year with her, I did about 100,000 outbound calls as an ISA. That was my goal, was to hit 100,000.
Wow.
Because in my mind, if I could do 100,000 calls, I would be an expert at cold calling homeowners. I learned quickly it changes every year. So sure, you can be an expert, but every single year you need to update your craft, you need to grow, you need to continue. So I kept on doing 100,000 calls every single year for the last 5 years, which ending, I try to keep track on my whiteboard. I should be pushing almost 600,000 calls over the last 5 years.
Unbelievable. That is, I have so much, we talked about chop wood, carry water. That is chopping the wood and carrying the water, and certainly not the easiest thing to do. I want to give a quick shout out because Zach mentioned something, the art of calls, and whether it's a cold call or follow up calls, we all have, well, most of us have, except for Zach, has a little bit of call reluctance, right? So this is something that we just kind of, I don't really want to
Totally.
call. People aren't calling as much these days. And but the follow-ups are in the win. Zach can tell you that. Zach's worked at a lead company. He knows it's not usually even the first call that gets it done. It might be the sixth or seventh, or anything in between or after. But I'm going to give a quick plug. I wish I was getting paid by these guys. This is one of the, and Zach, I don't know if you know these guys. If not, check them out. There's a great group where you can sign if you're having call reluctance, and these guys will get you to. They'll tell you exactly what to say on the call. They're not just real estate; they do all sorts of industries. But called 30 Minutes to President's
Hmm.
Club, which is 30mpc.com. These guys are the real deal. They have all the data on what works. Anyway, so enough about that. But 30mpc.com, check them out. I found it to be super cool, and we all should be making more calls. So great. So you were at set schedule. You were making a lot of calls there. I know
I
that
was doing
company.
about
It's a lot of
400
dials.
hand dials a day, like on an old office phone. We didn't have dialers, but like at that point, like I
That's
would hold the
brutal.
office phone like this, and I would take my pencil and I'd do about 400 dials going through realtor.com. I would just go through realtor.com,
Yeah.
start at the top, go down. And my goal was out of 400 dials, if I could get like 15 appointments for the next day, then we're in a good spot. And that was my goal, is about, if I do
Wow.
15 presentations booked, I knew my math. I knew I'd have about six that would show up for that day. And if I can pitch six people, I'll close
Sure.
two. So it was just simple math. I knew what my math was.
Wow. Well, I will tell you, it takes a lot of discipline and just fortitude to power through hundreds of dials a day. I just started that when in my first job as a financial advisor. Well, not my first job, but my first job as a financial advisor. I was making about 200 dials a day, and I thought that was insane. And we did not have a dialer either. But boy,
Takes a toll.
you really develop yeah, thanks. You really develop a lot of resiliency, and you sort of, it's almost like for guys who are afraid, who are single, who are afraid to approach a woman and ask for a date, like all you have to do is ask about 20 different women who you find interesting to like chat with. You'll realize, like, oh, you'll get rejected. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. You're still standing. And some of them are married, have boyfriends, or just aren't interested in you. Like, who cares? But it feels like it's the end of the world. It feels awful to think, it's what's that anticipation in our mind of like, this is going to hurt. The reality of it is, doesn't have to. And if you're confident in your own, I'm a good person, I'm a good human being, then making those dials and having somebody go, you're the fifth realtor to call me today because I have my home for sale by owner. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't mean to bug you. I'll keep going. Not the end of the world, but I know you've probably had your fair share of abuse on the phones, and you just kind of shake it off.
I have
It's
a
not
nice
about
little
you.
folder on my phone that has hundreds of calls of me getting yelled at, said funny things to,
It's
text
funny.
messages, like yada yada yada. And just to be super direct with you, anybody on here who's listening about cold calling, it's pretty rare, okay, that you get somebody super rude, okay, on the other end. And I'm here in California, okay, like trust me, I get rude people, okay, on the phones, like, and it's very rare that someone actually is rude, aggressive, or mean to me on the phone. Normally, they're just like, "Hey, man, no, I'm not interested. Thanks," and you're on to the next.
Yeah.
It's not like this big scary thing. So
Yeah.
when I coach people on cold calling and on prospecting in general, I'm a very strong believer that you need to teach it like you would teach a swim class. In the
Yeah.
first day of swim
I
class,
love
they
it.
put you in the water to show that you're not going to drown. So then the next day you come in, you're like,
Right.
oh my God, it's okay. I'm not going to drown. Okay, I'll get in the water and everything's okay after that. So a lot of people try to learn cold calling off of YouTube, off of videos, but then they never take the actual step to try to just make the call and see what happens. Like, it's just like swim class, guys. You got to jump in, watch the YouTube videos. Don't get me wrong, like master your craft, but you need to have some implementation of calling to know, like, oh my God, this person can't kill me on the other side of the phone. Like I'm okay here.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to call the next person, and everything's fine.
Plus, too, like I think the look. I'd love to say that everything is relationships, and maybe there are lots of agents that can do that, where it's literally they're networking gurus and they are just connecting all over the place. And if you're that person, God bless you. For the rest of us, and especially for the introverts
Yeah.
out there, like this is perfect for introverts, right? So I'm, believe it or not, I'm an introvert, and I don't like making dials. I don't think anyone likes making dials, but I like that I don't have to go outside to make dials, and I know that I can just go person to person to person. But I want to switch gears because you are a big believer in open houses, and I
Yeah.
love this because I hear it all the time from agents who I've never really heard it from a successful agent, but I've heard it from agents who are maybe newer in the industry, or maybe they're just not having success they want. They're like, yeah, open houses, that just doesn't work. And I know that they do because I talk to agents like you every day or every other day that on the show that literally prove otherwise. But tell me about open houses. I know that you are like, no, open houses literally print money for you if you do them right. So tell us
Yeah,
about
so I'll
that.
just be really simple. You guys, the reason open houses don't work is because you're not hosting open houses. You're just hanging out in a house on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, there's very, very, very big difference, okay, in those two items. Last year for 2024, like you said, one of the hardest years for real estate, we paid out over $350,000 worth of GCI just from open house leads. Okay, so when I say we know open houses work, it's because I know for a fact that they work. I'm not here guessing, okay, with you guys. I don't leave paychecks up to guesswork. Okay, it's just nobody should want to do that. So very simply,
Yeah.
our open house, we call a mega open house. Okay, and it's because it is a mega open house, and it also implements in your brain that you're going to have a mega open house this week, and I'm not going to go just hang out on the couch, okay, for 2-3 hours. Our open houses start on Wednesday. Okay, so if I have an open house on Saturday, my job starts Wednesday, not Saturday morning, 1 hour before the open house, okay, when I show up. So just to kind of walk through some very basic steps, and we can deep dive, of course, if you want. We have Wednesday starts the dialing around the open house. So on average, we want to call 200 to 300 homeowners around that open house before the actual open house. And if you're on here and you're listening, you're like, oh my God, that's so many dials, there's so many of this. I have brand new agents on our team that close their first escrow in 30 days from dialing around an open house. Our median
Amazing.
price point is 865. Okay, so like they're doing just fine. And I promise you, it works.
So just to slow it down a bit. So we get an open house, we have a listing, we have an open house, or maybe it's not even our listing. Maybe it's somebody else's listing in our office and they're saying, hey, you can do an open house, even better, right? So what Zach is doing is he's getting the phone numbers for all the people that are in the immediate surrounding areas because, well, and he's going to tell us why, but I'm going to tell you my idea why, because everybody's nosy and wants to see what's inside their neighbor's
Yep.
home, but also maybe it, obviously facilitates the idea of, maybe I should sell mine. But go ahead, tell us why that
All
works.
production is derived from one thing, and it's conversations. And so if I have a reason to call somebody instead of just a cold call, I'm going to take that reason. And so these calls are much easier than like calling a list of expireds, okay, or something like that, because I have a reason to call. Like I really do. And so we run the pick your neighbor campaign. That's what we like to call it, aka be the nosy neighbor, pick your next person, etc. But I'll just drop the bomb. I'll drop the script, okay, on here right now. It's very simple. It's hey DJ, this is Zach. I'm actually selling your neighbor's house right over the street on 2334 Jupiter. I was calling to let you know that we're going to have a huge mega open house this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 4. There's going to be a lot more traffic than normal in the neighborhood. I just wanted to see by chance, do you know of anybody that wants to come see the house or move into the neighborhood? So we
Love
run the
it.
pick your neighbor campaign and they go, wait, what house? Or they go, no, man, like I'm good. I'm not selling. I go, no, I'm actually not calling you about selling. I'm calling you about picking your next neighbor. And they're like, oh, okay, what? And they're
Love
like, what is
that.
that? What does that mean? And so I just run them through it. You guys, most of these people are curious. You're trying to sell them on something. I'm just trying to create curiosity, is my first step, that we're doing here. And so we run the pick your neighbor campaign. A lot of them say no, we don't have somebody, okay, that wants to come see the house. And then I
Sure.
do my backup, which is trying to get them into like a market report, inside of our system. So I go, hey, DJ, totally understand that you may not have somebody that wants to come see the house. What I'd like to do is I'm already doing it for a few of your neighbors is I make this really high level handcrafted report that I send out every single month. It shows homeowners exactly what's going on in the market, exactly what's going on in the community. And really, it just gives you all the information a homeowner should know about their home. Where should I send that? Text or email? No questions. It's going.
Easy.
So whether or not they have somebody for my open house is a no. I'm then going to get them in my database for a future listing. Okay. And it's not rocket science. That simple 2-minute call right there will bring you 12 to 15 people into your database per week. Easy. Easy.
Wow.
And those are sellers that know your name, know your voice, gave you a valid email. And we use Fellow. Shout out to Fellow. We use them for all of our market reports. And Ryan Young is amazing. So we just put them into Fellow.
Yeah.
And then they're in Fellow and we're good. And we just follow up every like 90 days. It's super simple. But so that way you get people that come to your open house. Okay. You get to look like a listing agent, even if you're not. So for new agents, if you're not calling around open houses saying, I'm selling your neighbor's house, you're just missing your opportunity to brand as a listing agent. They don't know, who has the listing and who doesn't. Also, even if they know who has it, who's the impressive listing agent? The one calling the homeowners or the one with their name on the sign? It's the one calling the homeowners.
Right.
And then the third one is it gives you
Yeah.
sellers in your database for future, transactions.
I love the idea too of picking your neighbor because we all care who is across the street, right? Even if we're not going to be buddies with them, we want to at least feel like, oh, I like
Yep.
that person if for whatever reason, or we certainly don't want to feel like I don't like that person. And even though you're right, they're not really going to have somebody probably ready to buy that house. It at least gets them thinking about, who do I know who would be kind of fun to
Totally.
live across? Like in a real subtle way, it's a fun exercise for them to go through in their mind just because they're like, okay, I'm thinking all my buddies, any of them are moving right now, huh? And again, the odds of them actually moving into that home are few and far between, but that's not why you're
Super
doing it.
slim.
But there's something psychologically kind of satisfying about thinking about if I lived by my friends, how cool
Yeah.
would that be? Like it feels good
Well, and
to
also
think
this,
that
where
way.
most agents mess up on this is they call looking for listings. An impressive listing agent doesn't call a neighborhood that they have a live listing in looking to create competition for themselves. That just it doesn't make sense. So I hear a lot of agents down, they go, Zach, hey, I'm calling them. I'm saying, hey, this is Greg, and I'm listing your neighbor's house right here. It's for sale right now. Have you had any thoughts about selling your house or looking at offers? I'm like, bro, we're way too early for that. That's after closing, that we can do that. An impressive agent is focused on that deal. And so I'm always trying to sell that house. Once they say no and they disqualify themselves from being a candidate for the house, now I can move into trying to be a listing agent, and talk to them about their home. But that's where a lot of agents miss that step is people want to hire an impressive listing agent to sell their home. They're not trying to just call an agent that's calling around, yada, yada. So don't call around for more listings in the neighborhood. Call just being the impressive listing agent trying to sell the home because that's your job in the first place. And they feel that on the phone. And that's why they remember you when they don't remember the random guy that sold the home in the neighborhood like 30 days prior.
Plus, they're now thinking, wow, this guy's like really a go-getter. Like he's literally calling all of us in the name. Like no other agents really
Yeah.
do that. So, I mean, the reality of it is, it's not like there's a lot of other competition. You know, if there's another open house next door to your open house, odds are that person across the street is getting one phone call yours, and they're probably like, hey, that kid's pretty good. You know, he's working hard, and it's just it's an impressive thing, I think, and it's non-invasive. You're not asking for anything. You're just saying, hey, I just wanted to
I'm
let
just
you know about
alerting
X, Y,
people.
Z, and hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I shoot out this thing that'll help you to kind of always let you know what your home is worth, what's going on in the neighborhood. Where do you want me to
Yeah.
send it? Like easy. Now you got the open house. You've called the neighbors on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I don't want to. Maybe we
No, no,
skipped
no,
a
not at
step.
all.
So, is there anything you're starting that on Wednesday,
Start that on
and then you're
Wednesday.
having the open house? Let's say
That's going to
Saturday. Yeah.
take Wednesday and Thursday and usually part of Friday. Okay. It's a lot of people, doing 300 dials doesn't go super quick unless you have like a dialer. Obviously you can do it a lot faster. Then we're also going to mega study the house itself. Okay. So when I say the house, not just the details like the square footage and the bedrooms and the baths, like I'm talking knowledge bomb, something that they cannot find. So I'm talking like the house that sold down the street 3 months ago. I want to know all the area stats. What is the average for sale, or what is the average over list price that it sells, or under list price? What is the average days on market in here? Did the last one fall out of escrow at any point? I'm going to call the agents before I host, the last listing agents on the other listings that sold in there, and literally say, hey, how did your last sale go? Like I am going to be the
Wow.
inside scoop. So when they walk in my open house, they are like, holy moly. They are just like, it's impossible not to get impressed, walking in there, because the average agent knows, oh, hey, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, and it's a single story home. We're like, thanks, Poindexter, for letting me know the house I just came to see. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be rude.
The things I can already see for
You got
myself. Yeah, I
agents are
don't.
becoming a commodity because of that. And that's my big word here for agents
Yeah.
on our team. We focus on not being a commodity, which means we have to have information they can't just get from Zillow. AKA the closed comps, the average over all these little things. I want that information. So when they come in, it just comes out in your language. You don't even need to try to use it. Your brain wants to show off.
So So you're literally calling the listing agents. Are you also calling the buy side agents for the deals that happen
Really
down the
depends. If
street,
it's like
or
a really niche area or something
just
like that, I would. But if it's like a standard cookie cutter, I'll call one or two listing agents, get some, see how their last sales were. So somebody comes in, I go, hey, DJ, I know you said that this is maybe a perfect house for you guys. I just want to let you know the last house that sold down there had 17 offers, closed escrow in 10 days. So this is a pretty aggressive neighborhood. Let me ask you, what do you think you'd want to offer on the home? And it creates that, oh my God,
yeah,
I'm working with the right person, is what it does.
yeah. I love that. And so, by the way, back to the cold call just for a
Yeah.
second. I wanted to ask this: what if somebody says, "What's a mega open house?" What's
I
the
love
answer to
that.
that?
So my personal response that I do this a lot, I go, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry that you haven't been able to witness a mega open house before." So I give this like apology, like, "Oh my god, so sorry you haven't been invited before." And they're like, "What?" And I go, "A mega open house is when we're selling a home and we open the doors for business for the weekend, and our number one goal is to create a traffic jam." So I go, I apologize, and that's why I'm calling the neighborhood in advance, is because my literal goal with selling your neighbor's house is to create a traffic jam of people coming in. So I create the highest comp possible for the community, which obviously affects your home and
Right.
affects their home and makes the whole world go around. So I kind of just give that like, hey, so sorry you haven't heard of this before. Wow, like let me tell you what this is. And I just, I talk about the traffic jam because we've done that multiple times where we've literally caused traffic jams, in neighborhoods. So I think it's a cool picture in people's heads, is like, wait, a traffic jam? They start picturing this open house with all these cars like kind of colliding in and, coming in. And so that's usually my little mini explanation of it.
So Zach just did something very skillful, and it's a subtle thing that you might not have picked up on. And I want to address this because if you identify the structure of what he's doing, you can apply this all throughout the sales marketing process or the sales cycle. Zach did something very, very clever. He identified a future problem for the guy across the street. and offered a solution or offered a reason why it's actually a benefit to that person. So he said, "Hey, I'm really sorry, just so you know, there's going to be a lot of traffic that day. I apologize for that. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want as many offers as I can for that house because I want to drive up those comps so that you as well, the whole neighborhood will benefit from this." So he basically identified a potential issue where people go, "Oh, I don't want to deal with a traffic jam for my neighbor's house. Who cares?" And then Zach goes, "Here's why you need to care. And here's why it's a minor inconvenience." And he basically just solved that brought up a problem and addressed it and solved it and made it worth the person's time to go, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, cool." So I love
My
that. Super
favorite
skill.
line here, everybody should remember this. The only thing you should be thinking that's in your prospect's head is what's in this for me?
Yeah.
They could care
Yeah.
less that I'm selling their neighbor's house and have an open house and all this stuff. Like you said, it's just this big inconvenience until I make it about them. Okay, so it's really important. One of
Yeah.
my favorite phrases is this benefits you because everyone will be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I have this amazing open house and this and that. And they'll hype up all this stuff. And then the homeowner is just like, that sounds cool. And I go, the reason this benefits you is because it's all about you, is because I'm
Yeah.
going to boost
Yeah.
the comps in the neighborhood. I'm going to break a neighborhood sale record. And I'm going to bring so much traffic in here that we're going to have so many offers that you may even want to look at one of those offers on your home. Like I'm hitting it hard, like, hey, this is valuable for you
Yeah.
too, not just that homeowner. But it's that key phrase,
That
it's valued to you because, and you get that reason of this
yeah.
is why you should care about it, essentially. Because they don't care unless you tell
And
them why
every
they should care.
And everyone has that number that even though they don't want to move and they're not looking to list their home, everyone's got that number that if somebody threw that at them,
Yep.
they would move. Even they would give up that 3% mortgage if that number was high enough. And so it really gets the person thinking, Zach's driving up the comps. He wants a bidding war. Gosh, maybe I should check out, see what's going on here, see what this guy's all about, because maybe somebody would want to throw me a number that's
Yep.
pretty insane. So brilliant all the way around. Oh my gosh,
We
so
haven't
much
even gotten
value
in the
for
open house
our.
yet.
Okay, so now let's get to the open house. So now you're at the open house. People are coming in. What
Okay,
are you
so
doing?
our open house has a few factors. One, first off, is signage. Okay, I ask a lot of agents, how many signs do you put out? And I'd say the average answer here is between 5 and maybe like 8, signs that people are putting out. So we have a minimum of 50, okay, that we put out. So we hire a sign guy, like a new build guy who, for our team listings, we go and have 50 signs put out. And that does not include the 15 signs that the agent's going to bring with their name, their phone number for inside of the neighborhood. So sometimes we'll have up to 65 signs for an open house. And I know some of you guys are like rolling your eyes. Well, of course they're busy. You can put out 65 signs. You guys, before we had a sign guy, our agents were doing this. We're just all about raising the value of our agents' times. We're like, I used to have an agent that would go do the signs at 5 in the morning. She would drive out, put out signs at like 4 or 5 a.m. when it's still dark out, no cars on the road, hammer everything, and then she'd be good. It would take her like not that long. She's just being smart with her time. But so I know it sounds like a lot, but when an agent to the left of me has an open house that had 3 people through it, and then my agent to the right had 80 people through, and that's not some fake number. Last weekend, literally on a Sunday, sorry, not even a Saturday, a Sunday, our agent Reza had 80 people through his open house. I'm willing to put in the few extra hours to get 80 people through my open house. So signage is huge. Okay, I highly suggest get bright colors. We do like neon pink, neon blue, green, like our brand colors are black and gold. I wish we could do those everywhere, but they blend in. They do. They just, people don't read any of the writing or anything. They just see a big arrow, and they point in. So we're going from the freeway all the way to the house typically. Like we want to get people down that whole windy road, and then inside the neighborhood, we have our agents put 15 of their branded signs, their face, their name, their phone number. Because if all they have to do is sign inside of a neighborhood with 15 signs, you'll do that no problem. That's 30 minutes right
Yeah.
there, just to put those out. And it's
Wow.
really dense.
So basically the cars are just following arrows.
I drove by a new build and said, why the heck are they allowed to have 100 signs out and 10-foot flags and all this stuff and we can't? And so I looked into it and I was like, oh, we can. People just don't do it. And so we have two 17-foot tall flags that we put right in the front of the house. Okay. They're super easy. You can get them on Amazon for like $60, or something like that. And we just wham, stick them in. And people drive by and it looks like a freaking carnival, dude. Like it's just like it is. Like it looks like they're like, okay, whatever. There's an open house. Oh my God, there's the same sign. Oh my God, there's 3 of the same sign. Oh my God, we're going into our neighborhood and there's 5 signs 10 feet apart, all pointing in here. Like I have to go inside. Like I have to. So we're forcing it.
Plus, how impressive. I'm
No,
sorry
no.
to interrupt, but plus, how impressive that looks to the neighbors, right? Like, we might be thinking, ooh, that's a little much. That's a little much. But, and yes, maybe it is much to some people. But if you're selling your home, you want much. You want as many people coming by
Yeah.
as possible. So, what you're really doing is conditioning the neighbors to go, this is how
Yeah.
much I care. And nobody else has done this before. They've seen other homes for sale. It's quiet. There's one home, and there's a sign in the yard, and that's probably about it. They're not seeing this level of activity, and they're like, wow, this guy's really putting
I
work
mean,
in.
you guys, our average days on market right now is 14 days, and that's all of 2024 to this first quarter of 2025 average. And that's with a median price point, like I said, of right below $900,000. So, like, when I say we know how to sell homes, like we're all about quick, highest number possible, sitting on market this 100 days, 120 days. Like, it's just, if you take your per an hour value there, like all you're doing is lowering your value. So we hit super hard, super impressive, okay, super high level right in the beginning, big flags, lots of signs, calling the neighbors. And then we finally get to the open house. Okay, and here's the key. If you guys have a pen and paper out, write this down. I'm about to drop the $300,000 script on you right now. Okay, no joke. This paid out $300,000 last year in GCI. They walk in the open house. And I go, hi, my name is Zach. So nice to meet you. Welcome to my open house. What's your name? DJ. Awesome, DJ. It's so nice to meet you. Okay, this house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot. Here's the flyer with all the information on the home. It has an ocean view deck off the top bedroom. I highly suggest you go check it out. And it's got a dog run over on the left-hand side, so I suggest you go see that as well. Take as much time walking around the open house as you would like. I just ask one favor, though. Can you meet me by the kitchen counter before you leave so I can ask you a few questions about the home? They go, yeah, of course. No problem.
Okay.
I just gave you everything you wanted. People walk in an open house and I hear the agent, can you sign in, please? Oh, hey, can you sign in, please? Oh, no, you have to sign in to get in. Okay. The people come in. I give them everything they want. I ask them my favor, which they say, of course, to, because I just gave them everything. The second they turn their body away from me, I go, oh, DJ, really quick, can I get you to sign in for the homeowner? And what they do is go in their brain,
Of
oh, it
course.
wasn't the first priority. It was just to get me to sign up for some sheet. It was a
Right.
second.
It's like almost an
It was an
afterthought.
afterthought.
Yeah.
And so, sure, I'm going to go put in my real phone number, my real email, my real name, because this guy seems like a good guy. Like he's not trying to just force me through a registration sheet and then calling me a few days later, and blowing me up. Like, so you guys, they're also, I'm sorry if anybody feels called out by this, okay? But the worst question in real estate that humanly exists is what brought you in today? What are you expecting them to say? I just don't get, oh, I'm here to buy a house. Like, I just, like, it's like, I'm assuming you're here to buy a house. You're inside an open house. So people walk in and I hear agents all the time, like, what brought you in today? Like, oh, we're just looking. And you're like, oh, okay, shoot, okay. And it instantly cuts it. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So instead of what brought you in today, move that over to the side and just, hey, gratitude. Thank you so much for coming into my open house today. I'm so grateful that you were able to come see me and my business today. So I don't have to hang out in the corner on Instagram for 3 hours and not get paid for any of my time. Thank you so much for coming in. Like, so grateful for you coming in my open house today. And you start with gratitude.
Yeah. It's funny. I think as you were saying this idea of, the, oh, by the way, real quickly, could I get your email address? I think about this. There's so many applications for this. I was thinking the same idea when you walk into a clothing store
Yep.
and the salesperson comes up, and the last thing you want them to do is come right up to you because you're like, I don't even know what I'm
Yep.
looking at yet. Yeah, I'm here. But what they could do is they come and say, hey, I know you want to start browsing. I'm going to let you do that. Here's where your men's clothes over here, over here, over here. I'm going to leave you alone. Just wanted to let you know where things were. I'm here if you need me. And then they like, okay, cool. And they go, oh, hey, by the way, we send out a lot of coupons and offers. Can I just grab your
Yep.
email real quick? And then it's the same exact idea. And I don't know why restaurants don't do this before they seat you.
Yep.
I mean, there's so much
I
opportunity
use
here.
car
So that is
sales
un
as the easy one because obviously everybody
amazing.
talks about car sales and us being used
Yeah.
car salesmen. I know some great used car salesmen, you guys, just for everybody out there. But we have this rap, like that. So I tell everybody, imagine even me, I go to a car lot and I go, oh my God, where is he going to come out of? He's going to pop out of the back of the
Yeah.
truck. Is he going to
Yeah.
walk from the corner? Like, where
Yep.
is this guy going to come out of and not leave me alone? Because it is like a stereotype for that. And even I think it, like, and I'm in sales. So I
Yep.
imagine this, and I told this to a car sales guy, and he crushes it. Imagine somebody walks on the lot. They walked up and they said, hey, DJ, really quick, I'm going to let you look around and take as much time as you would need. I just wanted to give you a quick update. So all the Toyotas are over here, all the
Yeah.
mid-side vans are over
Yeah.
here, the trucks, okay, are back
Yeah.
over there. Once again, take as much time to look around as you'd like. I just ask one favor. Can you stop by the front office before you go? That way I can just ask you a few questions about your vehicle purchase. And they'd be like, oh
Yeah.
my God,
Easy. Sure.
thank you. They'd be like, that's amazing. And then as I turn
Yeah.
around, I'd be like, oh, really quick, could I get your contact information just so I could send you over? Like, we have some cars, we're doing some amazing deals on. And then it's like this secondary thought and they feel
Yep. Love
comfortable
it.
doing it. So that's crucial. Stop forcing people to sign in right when they walk in the house. Give them all the
Yeah.
value first. Law of reciprocity kicks in and they end up giving you what you want back now, without even thinking about it.
I love it. Okay, so any other tips for the open house, or is that the oh, or you have refreshments? Do you have food? What are you doing that way
Rule
or
of
not?
three: look good, feel good, smell good. That goes for you and for the house. Okay, that's a rule of thumb. You should look good, feel good, and hopefully you smell good. Okay, same with the house. Hopefully it should look good. It's cleaned. Okay, there's not stuff everywhere. You have the closets closed, the toilet seats down, windows open, feel good. Okay, get it a good temperature in there. Nobody wants to walk in this freaking, warm, sweaty, open house. Okay, and then smell good. Make it smell good, you guys. You don't go spray Febreze everywhere. Okay, that just suffocates people. Like, just go.
Yeah,
I
nobody wants
literally
that.
got stuck
Yeah,
one time at open house. It smelled terrible, and I didn't have anything on me. They had a bunch of lemons, so I turned on the hot water and just squeezed a ton of lemons, like in the sinks and stuff. And the house smelled like fresh lemons. One of the
yeah,
best feedback I got actually was, "Wow, the house smells great." And I was like, "Thanks,
yeah,
appreciate it." But so look good, feel good, smell good. Okay, feel good would mean music. The echoes. You walk in an open house and
yeah,
you hear yourself echoing in the rooms. Nobody
yeah.
wants to be there. Okay, so they get out as quick as possible.
Right.
Food. We don't do like big cookie platters, or anything like that. We'll do like
Yeah,
some chocolates or something really small, and easy. And then drinks
yeah,
is our big trick. A lot of people I walk in, they got like a $60 bottle of champagne, and I'm just like, damn, man, you're like, like I guess you're crushing it, with your open houses. You guys, we use $2 bottles of champagne. Like, buy a bunch of bottles of champagne. They're not there for the quality of champagne. They're there for the house. The champagne's a bonus.
right,
Okay, so get yourself some cheap
right.
champagne. Pour it in some glasses and just look good, feel good, smell good. You're running a good open house at that point.
Love it. So now they've left the open house. They've gone about their day. You've got their contact information. Maybe they stopped by and talked to you, or maybe they didn't, but you've got their info, so it
Yep.
doesn't matter. So, by the way, just out of curiosity, what percentage stop by you on the way out? I know you don't probably care so much about it,
So
but just curious, like what
that's
percentage
my
actually
favorite
do?
question because everybody thinks it's really low. They think it's like 50%, 25. I've gotten thrown out there. It's
Yeah.
like over 80%. I'm not even joking. As long as you nail,
Wow, that is that's
I'm telling you,
shocking.
it's shocking because it's two parts on this. Okay, one, it's the law of reciprocity. Okay, sure, that part's really important. You gave them everything, you made their life easy. What happens when you make someone's life easy is they make your life easy in return. Okay. And they don't make your life hard. You make somebody's life hard, aka you force them to sign in within the first 2 seconds. You just made their life harder. They're going to make your life harder, and they're going to get the heck out of that open house, and not answer the phone for you, not
Yeah.
talk to you, give you a fake phone number. aka my life is harder now because of that. The second one, this is the key word here, is favor. Favors make people feel good. People like doing favors for other people. Now,
Yeah.
a request is very different. Hey, DJ, I'm going to ask that you meet me by the kitchen counter before you leave. That's very
Yeah.
different.
That doesn't feel
No,
the same.
it's a
Yeah.
request is very different. Where we actually don't like requests. We don't like when people request things from us
No.
typically, unless it's a home evaluation or a showing. But it's that favor. Hey, DJ, would you mind doing me a favor? And they go, yeah, of course. I go, now it feels weird when I go meet me at the kitchen counter. They go, yeah, of course, that'd be great. It feels weird for them to just leave. Like they're like, oh, okay, good, we got to stop. We got to at least stop and say hi. And the second they walk up to the counter, this is super important because this is your ending really to your open house. Okay. They walk up to the counter. They walk up. I go, hey, DJ, wow, you guys got some time to look around the house. Let me ask you, do you want to write an offer? Okay.
Love it.
Your worst question is, how did you like the house? That's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants to
It's also
answer
just
that.
hard.
No.
Like, well, then they
Yeah.
start thinking about the downstairs.
There's things I like. There's things I didn't like.
It just is
Yeah.
all hard. I like yes or no questions to start always. Yes or no. So, hey, DJ, ranking the house on a scale, of 1 to 10, what would you rank the home at? 8. Awesome, exciting. Does an 8 mean you want to write an offer? Okay, you have to ask about the offer. I see so many people just letting people leave out the open house. Like, I'll call them later, and I'll follow up with them. It'll be good. No, not at all. Like, my successful open house on a Saturday means I signed an agreement, or I'm writing an offer, and I get a lot of kickback on this from other teams, other agents, other everything, where they're like, it's kind of pushy, and it's kind of this. I go, tell that to all my agents that have escrows right now for open houses on the open house they held. And all they're doing is, oh, yeah, you want to write an offer on it? They go, yeah, it's actually a really nice house. And they go, awesome. Has anyone walked you through the 7 steps of a winning offer? They haven't. Oh my gosh, we need to set up a call later tonight when I'm done with the open house and work on this winning offer for you. But you just need to ask, you guys. In this world, you need to ask for what you want. You can't just expect it to fall in your lap. So if you're not asking them for what you want, they're not going to give it to you. I want to write an offer on this house. So I'm going to ask people to write an offer on this house. And one of them is probably going to do it.
Yeah, it's funny. I was when I moved into when I moved into the condo I currently live in, it was a new development, and the developer, or actually a representative for the developer, came along on one of the showings because he had to let us in because it was still being constructed and they had certain access I couldn't get to. So he walks us over, and he's not the agent. He's just the guy working for the developer. And we asked him, well, what about this or this? We asked our agent, what about this or this or this? Because we didn't know all the answers. And he says, write an offer and find out. And he was kind of being cheeky and a little funny. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. He probably would. They're going to answer these questions, which were like, could you do this for us? Could you do this for us? They want to see that we're serious. And it made me think, holy crap, I got to write an offer he's a good guy. I didn't think he was being pushy. He was just trying to get these things sold. And there's something about this idea that what you said is are you ready to make an offer? Would you like to make an offer? Is you're presupposing that people want to make offers, and psychologically there's a little bit of an urgency aspect to it. Now, again, you're not a creepy sales guy, so you don't have to worry about being a creepy sales guy. You're just not. So you can say things that maybe other person might sound like a creepy sales guy doing it. Don't worry, you're not that person. You're a good person. So this idea of, hey, do you want to make an offer? And it's not, I'm trying to sell you this home. It's just so first of all, they're going to see all the traffic going in and out. They're going to understand that there's urgency, and you're actually helping them. You're actually saying, hey, are you thinking about making an offer? It's important that I know this because there's a lot of people coming through.
And honestly, once again, this is a big one. You guys, you're selling the house. That's your job.
Yeah.
Your job isn't to be a buyer's agent and standing inside of an open house. That doesn't make a ton of sense. So I see it a lot. Buyers walk up to the counter, or they call their, the open house, visitor like a few days after, something like that. And they're just like, so why don't you break down for me what you're looking for in a home? I'm like, bro, how about sell that house first? And the second they say no to that house, then I can be the buyer's agent. So if I go, hey, DJ, do you want to write
Yeah.
an offer on this house? You liked it? And they go, oh, no, 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 no. We just started looking. How exciting. Why don't you break down for me what you're looking for in a new home? Now I can be the buyer's agent, and step in and be this. But
Yeah.
you guys, people want to work with an impressive agent in general. So be the impressive agent at your job that you're there, okay, to be at, AKA selling the house. So try to sell the house. Okay, it'd be like being inside of Target. You walk inside a Target, you're like, hey, I want to check out with this clothing on. I'm like, hey, do you actually know they have this cheaper over at Walmart? I'd be like, you're weird. I'd be like, what? I just want to buy this right now. Like, I don't know. That's weird to me. I'm not going to go drive to Walmart now. Like, you should be selling me on this shirt that I have in my hand, right here. So that's what you're doing inside of the open house. So you're literally, somebody's walking into Best Buy and you're saying it's cheaper over at Target. It's just weird. Yeah, it's a weird mental thing.
Okay, so now they've left. You've got their contact information at the beginning. You 80% of the time are getting some sort of conversation at the end of the open house, which is finding out how interested they are, whether they want to make an offer on this one or they're looking at other properties. Either way, it's a win for you. If they have another agent, obviously you'll find that out. And then now the open house is concluded. So now, what's the follow-up process? What are you doing that either evening or
this is
next
my favorite, one of my favorite parts of the process. Typically, because the face I get when we talk about it, 21 touches in 7 days. Okay, is what an open house lead should have the following 7 days. Okay, of coming into your open house. That's going to be calls. That's going to be emails. That's going to be text messages. It's going to be property alerts. It's going to be videos. Okay, so our actual plan, and once again, you guys can literally write this down. Okay, is the day of the open house, not Monday. Okay, Saturday after the open house, we're calling them. If they don't answer the phone, we're taking a video from inside the open house. Okay, so a lot of our agents will just do this before they leave the open house. Okay, they take the video and say, hey, DJ, it was such a pleasure meeting you at my open house today. I just want to let you know I'm working hard on exactly what we talked about, and I'd love to set up, whatever it is, it's there. But so it's a call, they don't answer. Then they get a text with a video, and they're getting a property alert all in the same day, no matter what. Like, that is the key.
So it's three touches right there.
The second you wait till Monday, they've gone in 7 other open houses. Every other agent's calling them on Monday. You guys need to stop watching what all these other agents are doing and copying them, because the fact that 70% of agents didn't do a deal last year and you're following what all those other agents are doing, it's just, or one deal, it's just like, that's a hard one where nobody's calling them day of. Do what nobody else is doing. Call them day of. Get them on a property alert. Send them the video. Hey, it was so nice to meet you. I'm so grateful for having you in my world now. What can I do to assist you in buying a home? Something. Like, it doesn't matter. Just be impressive and be there. Don't wait till Monday like everybody else and it's just average. They sense it.
How are you taking notes along the way to make sure you remember anything of note? Because you have to be taking notes. So how are you doing that? Are you using a digital system? Are you using pen and paper?
We're big on tech, and very luckily, my business partner Brett, computer major, so we get to use his tech brain, for everything. But we use a system called Lofty as our CRM. If you ever heard of Lofty, okay, cool. Yeah. We've been with them for probably, when they were Chime, originally, for about, honestly, it's probably been over 5 years now, actually, that we've been with them. It's been a long time. But so we use the virtual sign-in sheet. And one of my favorite parts of it is that right after the lead submits, it leaves this little window right there for the agent to go and put in a few notes really quick and then submit. And it goes in with the lead. Outside of that, they have a pen and paper. I'm big on letting people see that I'm taking notes. I think agents try to hide. Like, oh my God, I don't want them to see my pen and paper that I have here in my note. You guys, it's good when the waiter doesn't wipe down my order in front of my face.
Yeah, you freak out a little bit. You're like, did you get that?
Coming back right. This dude just screwed up my whole night. My dinner's gonna come out wrong. And that's right where my brain is at. Where if somebody's in front of me just writing, okay, they're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, yeah, It's impressive. It just means you are actually listening to what's going on. So if it's after they come to the kitchen counter, they're typically doing it on a notepad, so they can witness you taking notes.
Sure. Okay, got it. So you're doing the 3 touches. We don't have to go through every touch, but basically you're continuing a version of that cycle for the next what you said, 7
Yep.
days or
So
so.
21 touches for 7 days is the goal. After that, it will typically bounce back to like a few times a week, like 2 or 3 times a week. We have an ISA team that calls our open house leads, as well, just to make it easy. So the agent's getting their touches, then the ISA is coming in and getting the touches. Typically, within about 90 days, we can call a lead bunk, or a not bunk. And it's not that we throw them away. We just move them kind of out of our face and let some AI and emails and stuff work on them. Like we want to get the hot ready to go. That's why our agents all do 4 open houses a month. Okay. It's just our standard that we hold, it's 4 open houses because we know out of 4 open houses, we're going to get at least 1 escrow. Like it's just, I use Sisu. If anybody's heard of Sisu, shout out Brian and Spring. Oh my gosh, Sisu is freaking amazing. So it's no guessing here. Like I know 4 open houses gets us at least 1 escrow. It's math.
It's really unbelievable. We're talking about just running a system that we know other agents are not willing to do. The other agents, you really don't have any competition when it comes to other open houses. Nobody's seen anything like this before. The experience for the customer walking in is a positive experience. You're giving them value. You're leaving them alone. You're doing all the things they want you to do, and you're still getting the information you want. And now they're in your database. And Zach knows something very important, this important statistic, and he might even have a different number than I have. But I asked ChatGPT this, and this is what ChatGPT says. And Zach now has these people in his database, and he knows that at least 10 to 15% of every one of those people in his database is going to use a real estate agent in the next 12 months. That's just what the numbers say. So the more people he's got in that database, not just the people he has in the database, the people he has in there, the number of them, and the number of times he's branding himself and reminding those people, I'm a professional, this is what I do, I'm here to help, blah, blah, blah. He is going to win the majority of those deals. So you are just expanding your database every single weekend.
Yes, we have a CRM right now that has 1.5 million people inside of it. I see agents show me databases and they're like, dude, my CRM is so busy. I can barely keep up with my tasks. Like, oh my gosh, they opened it. There's like 50 people inside. I'm like, man, we got 1.5 million people inside of here. Like, we're rolling. Like, I'm all about the mass. Bring me the homeowners, bring me the buyers, bring me expired. Like, bring me everybody here and put them in my bubble. Because I just want to look impressive.
All right. Well, you are impressive to me as somebody who interviews top agents all over the country. You absolutely, without exception, have the best open house strategy I've ever heard of. It's an absolute no-brainer. Does it require more work? Sure it does. So does everything in life that's worthwhile. It requires a little bit more work, but it's work that it's worth that. Yeah, it's worth it. It's not there's no worrying because you've set up yourself to win and you're willing to put in the work to do that. Okay, so let's I think God, I want to have you back on the show because there's so many other aspects of this business that I know you have great systems for. So I want to talk to you about coming on more regularly. But before we end the show, I want everybody to obviously Zach has lots of good information to share. So I want to let's talk about Fam Camp. Your company is Fam. Let's talk about what you do for agents because you turn agents into closers in just 2 weeks. So let's talk about that.
Fam Camp is my baby. Okay. We've built Fam Camp over the last 5 years, and I can very 100% confidently say that Fam Camp is the absolute best way for an agent to get in production. And I say that just based off track records. You guys know I'm all about numbers. Okay. I'm not about guesswork here. So what Fam Camp is a 2-week boot camp. Okay. It's from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay. We do it for 2 weeks. Week 1 is all about systems and tech. Okay. So we don't train on sales and tech and manage all this at one time. It's just too much. So week 1 is the CRM, Fellow, how to use our Google business, how to use Slack, how to use your tech stack, how to use all these tools that are in your tool belt. Week 2, we then move on to sales. We're moving on to prospecting. So that's you're doing your first open houses. You're calling the neighbors around it. You're getting some older leads. We're calling your SOI. Okay. So our last Fam Camp was 7 people. Okay. They went through the last one that was about a little over 90 days ago. 2 of them did not make it through. They tapped out, which is why we have it. It's not, our model is not for everybody. Well aware, we're not perfect for everybody, but we're exceptional for some. Okay. And during that 2-week process, And then 90 days following, that's always our goal, is what does the next 90 days of somebody's career look like? Every single 5 of those agents have closed transactions. Okay. One of them has 2 signed listings right now, a closed buyer and another buyer signed on an agreement. The other one has 4 BBRAs signed, 4 buyer agreements. Like, you guys, it's not a complicated system. It's just hard work, So it's an intense
Yeah.
2 weeks, but oh my God, is it worth it, for what you pop out on the other side. And our goal is that fam camp mixed with the 30, 60, 90, okay, the following days after, is that you're in production. Not that you have a signed agreement, not that you have a little bit of a pipeline, that you have a closed transaction. That's being in production, is getting a paycheck. So that's our goal of the fam camp, the 30, 60, 90. Our current group of campers are just finishing up week 1 this week. They've achieved 2 appointments. They've achieved 39 Google reviews. Like, what agents
Amazing.
even have reviews right now? And our fam campers don't even have experience.
Yeah.
They have 39 reviews in the matter of 7
Yeah.
days, and they've added about 185 SOI into the database. So, like, once again, it's a simple, replicatable process that I can be 100% confident in working, as long as you're right for the environment, that you're being surrounded. So if you just want to work a bunch of leads, no, FamCamp doesn't typically work, for you. Real estate doesn't typically work, sorry, for you. But if you want to come in and you want to grow a pipeline, master your craft is the really key word here, and get your first signed agreements in the process, your first closings, that's really what FamCamp and the 30, 60, 90 was designed around.
And if someone is interested in doing, and again, this is what you just said, 1 hour a day for the next 2 weeks,
It's really 2 weeks
essentially.
for 1 hour a day. It's not a big commitment. And this is why I think it's funny. We get people that tap out halfway through because of time. And I go, perfect. I go, if you can't get 1 hour a day for 2 weeks, I'm sorry. Real estate's going to be a really hard road, for you that comes.
And I like that you started early in the morning too, because that also has a demonstration
Yep.
of commitment. It's look, you're probably not really starting your day at 7 a.m. Most people in the country. So if you're willing to put in a little bit extra work so that you could be present and do some actual work from 7 to 8, you're probably at least on the
Yeah.
right track, because you're right. You're going to have to get up. You're going to have to work
Yeah.
long hours in this
I'll
business. You
end it with
just are.
one story, you guys. I always like to say what is the possible instead of what is going to happen, because everybody's different. Okay, but the possible is, we had an agent who joined our team last year. She did real estate for about 6 months of last year, first year in real estate. Okay, she did $10 million. Okay, in 6 months of real estate. Currently,
Wow.
for this year already, she's on track to do $22 million at 22 years old.
On and we think, boy, who's giving, who's listing or using a buyer, or who's a buyer or a seller who's using a 22-year-old, right? We're like, that doesn't happen. Well,
And
it
she's
does.
also doing it in the second most competitive market that exists in the United States. And she has
Unbelievable.
4 escrows right now, and 5 listings signed for 2025. The work works. I promise you. Just stop avoiding the work. That's the number one thing. Agents avoid the work too early. The work works. I absolutely promise you.
Zach Zen Real Estate is where you go to learn about all things Zach and his team. For Fam Realty Group, they are in SoCal, but they work with agents all over the country. So please, even if you're in Delaware, you're somewhere else, and you're like, I need to learn from somebody like Zach, or from Zach directly, you're going to want to reach out to him. Zach Zen Real Estate on Instagram. Zach, is there another way that people should
Yeah,
reach
if
out
you
to you?
want, you could go to my YouTube, as well. You guys, I'm an open book. I don't hide anything. A lot of our recorded team trainings are on YouTube. Like, I'm just posting our actual trainings. I'm not doing like a top 5 things to close and expired. Like, it's our actual live team trainings that we're doing. So my YouTube is just Zach Geisendorfer. Okay, Zach, Zach, Geisendorfer, Geisen, and you'll see it pop up right away. There's not many Zach Geisendorfers, okay, on there, but Geisendorfer. Okay, those are literally recorded trainings from our team. If you want to go on my Instagram and click a link to book with me, you'll literally get an hour of my time on a strategy session for free. You guys, absolutely for free.
Love
So if
it.
you want to sit down and just say a little bit of a business audit, or a scripting session, whatever it is that you think your business needs, like, let's just do it. Why not? Like, why not? Let's just show up.
You know what I didn't hear you say today was, it's really a bummer because rates are so high, inventory is so low, and those are true. Yeah, those are true. Those are affecting people. I didn't hear you talk about that and wonder why because you don't it doesn't matter to you. You're chopping wood and carrying water no matter what the market conditions are, and you know that all you have to do is maybe adjust your strategy here and there according to market conditions, but it's literally like you said, trust the process, trust the work
Also,
works.
put
Yeah.
your brain
So,
power into what you can control. And I think that's just in life. Don't just,
mhm.
not just in real estate, in life, like, don't focus on the things you can't control, like rates and the market, all these things. Sure. I like to know the theme of the market, is what I like to call it. AK, is my theme buyers right now? Is it sellers? Is it like, what is my theme at the moment? But you guys, you spend so much time. I talk to agents, they're like, my last year was so hard because the rates were high, or because of this, because I'm like, why are you putting your business in control of something that you can't control? Like, that just doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
And I want to ask one
Yeah,
final question because nobody is perfect and everyone's business has imperfections. And this will just humanize Zach a little bit and let us know that he has challenges because we always have challenges. What is a current challenge in your business? And what are you thinking? How are you thinking about
totally.
solving
So
it?
a big one for us has been social media. Okay, we were very behind the ring on social media. It's funny, most people do social media to get production. We actually were doing production to show off on social media. We kind of had the wrong concept. So really building our social media was a big tool that we lacked for many years. Actually, for about 4 years of our team, we did a little bit. We posted, we hired some companies, but nothing was really a brand, that we were able to create. So it's funny, we're kind of doing it the opposite as most teams. But so our big goal for this year is to really brand really heavy, create more online presence, more social media presence, YouTube, Instagram. We were way behind, on that. So we just hired an in-house media team of about 15 employees that now run the editing. They tell us, hey, Zach, you need to get us a video. They go, you haven't sent us a video in like 2 days. I'm like, cool, got it. My bad. Like, I just don't think about it. So social was a big one for us that we really wish we were stronger in over the last few years. And our goal for 2025 is that we have a really strong social presence, by the end of the year.
And I love that you've built this entire process and team with essentially very little to no social media presence, and you're a young guy. It's not like you're a 60-year-old guy who's like, well, I just got a huge network of
I
friends and
wish I was a
people I know.
social media
You're
guy.
like, no, everybody I know is on social all day long, and I didn't really do that. And look at where I'm at, and I did 100 homes, and I'm on pace to do 222 this year. Oh, and yeah, I need to actually get my social media up and running, and I'm working on that. But that is awesome. So I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing. Hey, my business isn't
Yeah.
perfect either. Nobody's business is, but you've got some really strong process. And guys, if this was a value to, I mean, I know it was. Let me know that it was a value to you. Shoot me a message. This helps me know what you like. I know you like Zach. You want to hear more of Zach? I'd like to hear more of Zach. So, if Zach was like a really good, I mean, gosh, this truly is one of the best episodes I think we've ever done, not because of me, but because of Zach. So if this was super valuable to you, do me two favors. One, shoot me a message on social or wherever you can find me. I'm easy. Find me, let me know if you appreciated this, and also let Zach know. That would really even be better. Let him know how much you appreciate it. But also tell another agent about this episode. Shoot them a link. Every agent in the country should really hear this. He just gave out you his entire strategy for free, didn't ask for anything from you. He's a good guy. That's pretty awesome. And thank you, Zach, on behalf of everyone listening. So please tell a friend, everyone listening, about this episode. Just pass it through to your office. You will be a hero to them, and you will help their production, and that will help your own production as well. Let's all help each other. And the other thing is leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the show. Whatever podcast app you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever. Let us know what you think. Give us a review. Tell us what you want to see more of on the show and what you want to see less of. And we appreciate that as well. On behalf of our audience, thank you, Zach. On behalf of Zach and myself, thank you to the audience. Thank you to our sponsors. We are so grateful for everybody who participates in the show, my awesome team as well, that's been going strong now for 7 years. And we will see everybody on the next episode. Thanks,
Amazing. I'll
Zach.
leave you guys with one thing: be stronger than your strongest excuse. Let's go get it.